Okay, guys, I'm gonna try a new one in English. Listen up, I think we can learn this one. Freedom for detainees, justice for Iran. Freedom for detainees, justice for Iran. Freedom for detainees, justice for Iran.
Freedom for detainees, justice for Iran.
Freedom for detainees, justice for Iran.
Freedom for detainees, justice for Iran.
زندانی سیاسی آزاد باید گردد.
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 Thank you very much. Now we are joined by the Honourable Jason Kenney, Canada's Minister of Immigration and Multiculturalism. I'd like to invite Jason Kenney to the podium.
Of the people of Canada, from the Atlantic to the Pacific to the Arctic, for human rights, for democracy, for the legitimate aspirations of the Iranian people. We support, all of us, right from left to right, from NDP to Conservatives, from east to west, Canadians together support human rights for the people of Iran. We call, as Parliament has, as the government has, as the Prime Minister has, we call for the immediate release of all political prisoners in Iran. We call for an end to arbitrary arrest and detention of those who are speaking up for democratic values in Iran. Canada is proud to have been the lead sponsor in all the nations of the world in the UN resolutions of the General Assembly and the Human Rights Council condemning the deplorable human rights record of the Ahmadinejad regime, and we call upon that regime to listen to the international community and to respect basic norms for the defense and protection of human and civil rights. We are inspired by the example of people like Shirin Ebadi, who met the Prime Minister 2 years ago and explained to him the reality of civil society in Iran. We remain inspired by the examples of people like Ramin Jahanbegloo and like Akbar Ganji and all of the brave dissidents who have stood up for human values. And so I am here on behalf of the Government of Canada to add our voice to yours in calling for respect for basic, decent human values today by the government of Iran, and we stand together with you right across this country and throughout the world today. Thank you very much.
Liberal Party's critic for immigration, MP for Vaughan, to come to
pay tribute to Reza Moredi, my friend and colleague, as well as Martha Hall Finley for their great support for this great cause. This afternoon here in Toronto and in over 100 cities worldwide, we are giving voice to the voiceless. We collectively, as one voice, as one people who believe in democracy, who promote freedom, inclusion, free press, fair elections, are gathered here today to send a strong and united message in support of the Iranian people and in condemnation of the human rights abuses being committed by the Iranian government. My leader, Michael Ignatieff, is indeed one of the strong voices and has asked me to bring his message of support and hope to you today. He says that on this global day of action for human rights and solidarity with Iran, we pledge to keep the struggle for human rights and democracy in Iran present on the global agenda. Today we say to the people of Iran that we have heard your stories smuggled across the internet and on YouTube and Facebook. And as long as you keep hope alive, we will not be silent. We will not be silent. We must not stand idly by while a ruthless regime represses its own citizens and promotes the politics of hatred. We cannot. No, we can't. We cannot be silent in the face of oppression and repression. And we will not abandon the people of Iran and all those affected by this tyranny or persecuted for speaking freely. We will not. We renew our call for the release of journalist Mazar Bahari and call on the Canadian government to insist on consular access to Mr. Bahari to ensure his Canadian citizenship, our Canadian citizenship, is recognized and his human rights respected. Toronto. Today, across Canada and throughout the world, we raise our hopes with those of the world. Hope for a flourishing democracy in Iran, for fair elections and a free press, and for an end to the intimidation of Iranian people. We are here for you, and we shall never, ever waver in our support of the great Canadian citizens who believe in those fundamental rights of freedom of speech. We shall conquer.
Not alone in your struggle.